Yes, Dante should be covering both of my West Town inspections tomorrow. He's already been made aware of the changes, but just double check with him. Alright, I'll send young William to give him a wake-up call in the morning. That should suffice. Make sure the carriage is ready to leave for tomorrow morning. I want to move as early as possible.
That I can do myself. I doubt any of the stable hands are up at this hour anyway.
Right, then get some sleep afterward. I'll be turning in myself after I'm done with these last couple of ledgers.
Alright.
Oh, good evening, Baroness. What are you doing awake? Oh, I see. Well, if you're going in there, do me a favour. If he puts down his pen and stops working on that one paper, tell him to go to bed. Pleasure, ma'am. Let me get the door for you. Sir, you've got a late-night visitor.
Huh. You still awake? I get staying up until you confirmed that Alfred's alright, but it's already been proven to you. Now you're just neglecting your health. Oh, sure you did. Let's say for now that I believe that you were trying to go to sleep. If you're tired, why bother me? Oh, come on, that's what's keeping you up at night? I believe I've told you as many of the details as you need to know. It's not the prettiest work, but the way that I do things and the methods that I use are... What do you mean? Oh. You mean why purchase House Voss? Would you believe me if I said it was because you're pretty? Didn't think so. Fine. I'll tell you a bedtime story so you fall asleep. And after this, no asking any questions, okay? Alright. You saw the orphanage. 20 years ago. There was a boy there. He was nobody. Had nothing but the clothes on his back. No close relationships, except for one. A boy named Edward. They weren't blood, but he was the boy's brother, in every way that counted. They survived together, and they protected each other. You asleep yet? Damn it. He was younger than the boy by 2 years. Smaller, and the other children would have torn him apart if... whatever. If I hadn't been there. At first he was just using me as a shield, following me around. And he wouldn't shut up. He would just non-stop tell me stories, ridiculous things. Adventures we'd have when we escaped. The houses he'd like to build, lives we'd live. I pretended I didn't care, and at the beginning I didn't. He was just some brat that wouldn't leave me alone. And it would have been easier if it stayed that way. As a noble, you must know many houses sponsor the city orphanages. The biggest contributor is House Maren, supported nearly 70% of them in the city. People praise them for their gentle hearts, but in exchange for funding quality clothes and bread, House Maren collects 20% of the children. The caretakers are more than happy to agree. Less children and good food makes their lives easier after all. And they never ask where the children go. We all just assumed they'd end up servants in some fancy mansion somewhere. Not that we ever really looked into it. We had enough trouble keeping ourselves alive. One cloudy afternoon on collection day at our orphanage, they came for Edward. And I'm sure they would have taken me as well if I wasn't already working for the old boss. I congratulated him. They promised good work and a successful future. I saw it as his opportunity to leave the slums. But Edward didn't want to go. He was screaming my name. I could still see his face as they dragged him through the door. He kept looking at me, waiting for me to save him. And I just stood there. At the time, I thought it was for the best. I was heading down a dangerous track myself, and I figured he'd stick around me if someone else didn't snatch him up, so I figured he'd be safer with a noble. Of course, the next night a strong old man with a gray beard walks in, asking questions. He said he'd been tracking House Maren for years, gathering evidence, trying to stop them. So I asked some questions of my own, and that's when I learned that the children that they take are broken and remade into weapons. Perfect killers with no memory of who they are, loyal to only those who hold their leash. They're called the Hollow Children. So I answered all his questions. After he stopped me from trying to burn down their house, that is. It was a fool's errand either way. And he said he'd be back the next day. Of course, he never did come back. And I didn't learn that he died until I stole an old newspaper the next week. He left a note in his eulogy. I don't know if it was for me or for someone else, but supposedly his notes were still out there. Oh, there is a reason for this long speech. Well, the important part is that the man's name was Aldrich Voss, your grandfather. As you might know, he was the Royal Guard commander, something of a hero for the realm. Worked so hard he gained your family their noble title, only for it to be bought by scum like me. Sorry. And now we get to modern day. The power that I gained was not enough. I was able to protect one orphanage, but couldn't get any closer to House Maren. So I needed a title, which was when I conveniently discovered your family again. Well, your father's debts weren't only bad luck. Well, the gambling certainly didn't help, but it's likely that House Maren orchestrated every failed investment, possibly rigged every card game. It's not a surprise they'd want your family destroyed and erased from noble society entirely. If nothing else, I'm sure it would make it much easier to get access to your grandfather's estate and search for the same notes I've been hunting for 20 years. That seems like a simple plan to me. Corrupt your father and brother and get them both addicted to gambling, then poison your mother with gems and gold. Seems like the fastest way to find the papers that could destroy them. And you'll never guess who had the second highest bid when it came to winning over your estate. So they'll probably be after us in some way or another. Perhaps they'll even try to approach me to do the same thing they did to your father. I know what you must think of me, but I didn't do this out of guilt. It was merely extremely good timing that I needed a title and your family happened to be struggling. If I hadn't gotten your name, my objective would have remained the same. Use the new influence to find your grandfather's notes. I just skipped the middleman by not having to get close to your family. You don't need to help me, and I don't want your pity. I just need you to understand the danger you're in. The people I've pissed off have the logistics to make children disappear entirely. I'm sure they can manage an adult. So feel free to ignore what I'm doing, for your own sake. Right. It seems my bedtime story has failed in its endeavor. It's 3 a.m. Go to sleep. Your curiosity should be more than satisfied now. Fine. I had planned to visit your grandfather's estate in the countryside tomorrow. I suspect his notes might be there. If you are in such desperate need of something to occupy your time, I'll let you join me. Good night. I've got a few more documents to finish. You can head back without me. What do you mean Caleb said I'm not allowed to work anymore? Fine.
Right. Coming up on the estate now, sir.
Thank you, Caleb. Well, home sweet home, huh? This was your family's main manor? I assume this is where you lived? What do you mean 13 years ago? Shipped out to boarding school and lived in the capital ever since, huh? Rich girls. Well, I allowed your family a few months to vacate this place. Left them the townhouse they owned in the city, so they should be gone by now. Don't have to worry about any awkward confrontations. My thought is that we search the library, your grandfather's study, and his bedroom, and we can expand our search from there if we don't find anything. Caleb, I'll have you stick with the carriage. Give a shout if you see anyone coming by.
Oh, I'll do more than shout if I see someone, sir.
I've no doubt. Right, let's get moving. No reason to waste daylight. We have no idea how long this is going to take. I trust you can at least lead the way to your grandfather's study. Thank you. I didn't realize he was such a romantic. Most men wouldn't choose a first-floor office overlooking the West Rose Garden. Though to be honest, I always assumed your grandfather was a more meticulous man. Wouldn't assume that he would have left his books in this state. Now look, the complete works of Sheldon DeWalt are all out of order. And the set of encyclopedias, too. Perhaps one of the idiots in your family was rummaging through this place. Desk drawers have been forced out and put back. Scratches around the locks. Looks like there was an idiot rummaging around this place. What, did I think there would be secret compartments in here? Oh, best case scenario is your father was looking for some extra money. Worst case scenario is House Maren already had people in here. Let's hope it was either the former or the latter failed in their attempts. Alright, let's think. Your grandfather was military, methodical, likely paranoid. Probably wouldn't hide something this important in an obvious spot, right? Is there anything you could think of? Any stories he told you? Any places that he used to visit that seemed significant? Great. Well, nothing to do now but to sweep the whole room. Let's get going. Nothing. Nothing at all. Well, if notes were here, they've been moved. But I doubt that. There didn't seem to be any good spots for them. Maybe your grandfather was far more clever than we gave him credit for. Well, anything else? Any places he regularly visited? Any phrases he liked to say? Anything that seems odd in hindsight? Alright, what was it then? The truth dies when a soldier rests. But that was a thing he said? Like, often? Well, it kind of contradicts what he said in the eulogy, so I'm not sure if we can take it as a hint, but that is quite odd. You might be on the right track, though. Anything else that he said that... Wait a minute. Sounds like we might not be alone in this property. Not that I'm sure when they would have snuck in. I've had my men keeping watch since your family left, and there's no way in hell they snuck past Caleb. Get behind the desk. Right, we're still on the first floor. Might as well go out through the window. Well, it's either thorns or thugs. I'd rather fight with the rose bushes. Oh, you recognize that one, huh? Well, who do we have the displeasure?
Who goes there?
Stay down. Lord Phillip. Didn't I ask you and your family to vacate this villa weeks ago? And come on, I could smell the booze off you from here. You do realize it's 9 o'clock, right?
Oh, don't pretend familiarity with me, merchant. A bought title doesn't make you nobility. Makes you a pretender playing dress-up in clothes that don't fit. Ah, dear sister, you were here too.
Oh, why can't you just listen to me?
Enjoying your new life? I'm sure this commoner's treating you well. Though, what are you doing out of the house? Shouldn't you be busy tidying, or getting to making children or something? Never could do anything quite properly. That's why our parents never wanted you around.
That's enough, Phillip.
Though I'd be careful. What if he brings in an outside woman?
I said that's enough. You are trespassing, I'll have you know. Are you planning to trash this house, looking for any gold scraps to use at a casino?
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you? Lord Marin said he'd pay me a pretty penny if I found Gramps' old diary or something. And once I've got that money, perhaps I can just buy a woman with a title like you and get my nobility back. I've been getting quite bored without the maids running around the townhouse.
I bet your grandfather's rolling in his grave having spawned such a wretched descendant.
Oh, pish-posh. This is what status truly looks like, boy. A merchant like you wouldn't understand. More not understanding, it seems you've been too soft on my dear sister. Just look how high she holds her head at me. Well, perhaps I shouldn't blame you. Since you're obviously fatherless, allow me to teach you how to discipline a woman.
Forgot to wrap my fists.
Am I bleeding?
Well, since your father was obviously useless, I'll let that be a lesson on how to discipline a man.
My knees.
And let me give you a word of advice.
I don't need any advice
Go
from
back
you.
to House Maren. Tell Lord Cassius and his son that you have reason to believe your grandfather sent his notes to a friend in the east, then flee to a nation in the west. That is, if you value your short and feeble life.
I don't need to take any of this from you. I'll make you regret this.
Something tells me he's not going to take my advice. though I will give him the opportunity.
Caleb! You have an idiot coming your way. Let him pass.
Oh, how dare you!
Well, you are unharmed, yes? Good. I'm starting to think it's useless searching around this area, considering that your brother has likely been here searching for weeks. Ugh. Let's call it a day for now. No dice, Caleb. We're gonna have to look for new leads. What's with the blood on the ground there?
Well, I might have sort of tripped our new friend.
Before I told you to let him pass, right?
Of course.
Right. So, meticulous military man, doesn't keep anything in the study, but apparently truth dies with a soldier when he rests.
Well, I'm sure we'll find it eventually as long as it's not buried with him. He didn't have the notes buried with him, right?
One would assume not, considering that the eulogy said that they would be accessible. Although, there's nothing saying that they wouldn't be at his grave nonetheless. Was your grandfather odd enough to do something like that, my good baroness? Well, I suppose we have a new destination then. Right, let's go. Day's not over yet. Not sure what I expected from a military graveyard, but I didn't think they'd try to turn me away at the gate. Who could have known they only allow next of kin? Well, it's a good thing I brought you then. I think I even saw one of them salute you. They must have really respected your grandfather. Though it is annoying that they only allowed you and me. Remind me later that we'll have to do something nice for Caleb. I wasn't expecting to make him sit at the cart all day. Right, here we are. Lord Commander Aldrich Voss, Guardian of the Crown, lies here. The only vacation he bothered to take. I guess someone had a sense of humor. Oh, he ordered it himself, huh? Well, that's kind of dark. Well, they got his likeness pretty well into the headstone, though. Surprised by the resemblance. Oh, you're right. I don't think he did have a mole under his left ear. You've got to be kidding me. You're telling me all these years of searching could have been resolved by simply going to the old man himself? I guess it makes sense to put it where only his family can find it. Not that most of his family was very reliable. Alright, let's see what we got here. Got some names, dates, some kind of financial records. Oh, House Maren's on here a lot. But there's a lot more countries listed on here than I expected. Looks like it might be harder to track down some of these people than I thought. But we have a list of children taken, organized by year. I'm sure the data is old, but I'll have my men start here. Oh, it gets worse. Testimonies from servants who escaped. Descriptions of training methods. Oh, we don't need to read all of that part now. Here at the end. Edward, age 11, brown hair, brown eyes, no family. Sold to Duke Alistair Thorne of Valdoria for 400 gold crowns. 400 gold crowns, huh? Alright, this part is as expected. Lord Cassius Marin is listed as the architect of the entire operation. I'm sure his son Darius manages the day-to-day logistics now. And we've got the names of nobles that have purchased some of the children over the years. Some of these families are still prominent in court today, so that's great. Well, either way, this will be useful. It looks like we've got some personal notes. There was a boy I met the other day. His eyes were cold, much like that of an adult. I may plan to adopt him after this next investigation. He looked just like me at that age. If it wasn't for Margaret, I might have gone down the wrong path. I will take him in and guide that strength of his in the right direction. Well, here's perhaps one blessing amidst all this. His arrangement would have been much more odd if I had been your uncle. Anyway, this is a good start. I'm sure House Maren is probably still scheming in the shadows, and we'll need a bit more evidence considering how widespread the corruption is, but eventually we can involve the Crown. In the meantime, we'll have to be clever with how we use this information. Alright, let's head back. I need to get these notes to my men, And then I'll have Caleb and Alfred look into Duke Thorn. Who knows? Edward might still be alive.
Ah, my lord, and Lady Baroness. Thank heavens you've returned. When the sun set and you hadn't come back, I began to fear the worst.
Good evening, Alfred. Glad to see you up and about again. I'll need you to follow me back to my office. We have some matters to discuss.
Well, a missive came while you were gone. A foreign dignitary is coming to discuss trade with our nation. Seems the king is looking for a house to host him and his entourage.
Well, I doubt the foreign dignitary wants to be in some newly purchased titled noble's house. But anyway, we don't have time for that, Alfred. We're finally getting some answers, and I found the notes. I've already informed Caleb of the matter, but I need you two to start an investigation into a Valdorian duke.
Just out of curiosity, it wouldn't be Duke Thorn, would it?
Yes, it would.
Well, then I have good news for you, sir. Duke Thorn is the dignitary seeking residence.
Okay, I've changed my mind. This is perfect. Send word to the king as quickly as you can. We will host him.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we'll also need to get the Grand Hall in order. We'll be expecting a party. Not to mention, with such a high-ranking foreign noble, we may see the king in attendance.
I trust you can get everything squared away, Alfred.
Well, you've never been a fan of giving an old man a break, have you?
You know what they say about idle hands.
You know very well my hands are never idle.
Well, either way, this is either a sign of worse things yet to come, or it's a sign of providence. Either way, we have to jump on it.
Right then, I'll have a messenger report our acceptance. And we're to be the first. Few else are mad enough to accept a dignitary without the proper preparations.
Thank you, Alfred.
Well, before I run, should I ask the chef to get something ready for dinner?
That's a good idea. Tell him to make it lavish.
Of course, sir.